If you want to speak good English, if you want to use the language creatively, impressively, then you need to use metaphors or learn to understand metaphors when they are used. Metaphors are one of the figures of speech. Earlier, I have done for you similes. Simile is also another figure of speech. Many of you have asked for videos on figures of speech. I will soon do one where we shall cover more than one figure of speech. But today we have only a metaphor. A metaphor is a comparison, but it is indirect, unlike a simile where we have to say like. I can say that her hair is as black as coal comparison, or the weather is like cold like ice. So the weather is ice cold. In this way, we use similes and metaphors. But in metaphor, we don't say. We say that the icy wind. Now here, icy wind, description of ice, is used as an adjective here. You will learn a few metaphors in this video, and also how you can recognize a metaphor when others use it and how you will be able to use it yourself. Let us begin. Before we begin with simple sentences which contain a metaphor, let me give you an example where you will know that metaphor is an indirect comparison. You are comparing two things which are not similar to each other, but you are not comparing them by saying this is similar to this. That kind of a direct comparison is not being made. I can say that the journey of life is difficult. Now here, the journey of life is being treated as a journey. What does journey mean? You start from one point and you end at one point. That is our travel. Wherever we go every day, that's a journey. But now journey is not used for journey. It's used for life. The journey of life is very long, or it is difficult, or it is enjoyable. Suppose you want to make a direct comparison. This, what I gave you is a metaphor, but you want to make a direct comparison. Then you say, life is like a journey, or life was as exciting as an adventurous journey. So again, you are comparing life and journey, but you are giving a link which makes it life is equal to journey, life is equal to adventurous journey, equal. But here, indirect, that is a metaphor. Now let us see a few examples. Let me give you 5 examples of the use of metaphors and also explain them to you clearly so that you can learn many more and practice them to make your English good, more fluent, very expressive, and impress everyone by using these metaphors and many more. Her voice is music to my ears. Now, voice is music. Indirect comparison. We can say directly by saying, her voice sounds like music. The moment you use like, it becomes direct. Or her voice is as sweet as music. Again, direct comparison. But here, her voice is music to my ears. Now, what you have here is that the voice and music are being used to describe two different things. Voice is the speech which we articulate, which comes out of our lips. And music is something else. Music is what comes from the musical instruments. But here, what is the meaning? The meaning is that her voice is like, when you hear music, you feel happy, you feel impressed, you feel very comfortable, at peace. That is how you feel when somebody speaks. You want to praise a person's voice. You want to say that she has a very nice voice. So, praising it in that way, she has a very nice voice, is very casual. It's very simple. But you want to do it in a more creative and impressive way. So you say, her voice is music to my ears. Others might not like her voice, but to me, her voice is musical. And that description, the word music, which is indirectly related to voice, which is showing the comparison, voice is equal to music, music is equal to voice. That is what the metaphor is here. Now, the teachers who are there in our group, I'm sure, will empathize with this sentence. The classroom was a zoo today. The metaphor zoo for the word classroom, it's not very common. But some days the students might not behave in a very orderly or disciplined way. Some days the students might make a lot of noise. They might behave without any order, like you find animals in the zoo may behave. So, always animals in the zoo might not be wild, but when you use the word zoo, it means confusion, it means disorderliness. So, that disordered classroom where nobody is listening to the teacher, they're doing exactly what they want, that is the comparison. Here it is an indirect comparison. You can see that, the word classroom and the word zoo refer to two totally different things. The classroom is where students study. The zoo is where an animal is kept. Animals are kept. So you don't really have a correspondence between those two. But here, these two dissimilar things are brought together to show you in a very colorful, in a very vivid way, how everybody in the classroom is behaving as they want. They are not really behaving as they should, sitting quietly and doing their work. They're just running around, they're doing everything possible. So the classroom and the zoo refer to two different things, but comparison. The classroom, which is totally dissimilar, is being compared to the zoo. See how a metaphor works. You can make it into a simile by saying, today the classroom was like a zoo. The word like immediately changes it into a one-to-one relationship. But you remove the word like and you have a metaphor. See how you can learn to use metaphors. Time is a thief that steals our moments. This is example number 3 of simple sentences using metaphors. Now you see, time and thief, these are two dissimilar things. We don't usually use thief for anybody other than a person who takes away things from us. But then what is time doing? Time is taking away all our, moments of life which are very precious. Time, as you know, keeps passing. We don't have the ability to hold on to time, even the precious time, precious moments of our life. It just slips past and goes. So what does time do? Time takes it away from us. So that comparison of time and thief. Suppose you say time is like a thief, then you are making a one-to-one comparison. Then you say it is like a thief, it becomes a simile. But otherwise, we have a metaphor, and that is time is a thief. Time is a thief makes it very clear that we have no, you know, direct comparison. Time is totally different, thief is totally different. They are dissimilar. We are putting them together to get a meaning that is creative, to get a meaning that is much more than what an ordinary sentence can give us. Time steals all our memories, or time steals our precious experiences, doesn't have the power which time is a thief has. That is the ability to use good English, to speak good English, where you use metaphors. A simple sentence. This is number 4. He has a heart of gold. Now, this is not really possible. Our heart is made out of tissues and cells and blood vessels. We know that is the real heart. But here we are speaking about a metaphoric heart. That means sympathy, generosity, kindness. So a heart of gold, that is a metaphor. It's not gold, the metal, out of which we make all our jewelry and gold coins, etc. That's not the gold we are talking about. Here it means that he has a heart which is very pure, very precious. It has all the good qualities inherent, and it is not the physical heart which is there inside the chest. That is not what is being spoken about. So the metaphor means much more, as you have seen in all the examples, that the meaning is much more. The meaning is in a very vivid and very picturesque manner. You can almost feel what is being said using a metaphor. He is a kind person, if we say, that is an average expression. But I'm sure all of you who want to learn English want to learn it well. Therefore, when you say he has a heart of gold, you are expressing the metaphor. Heart and gold are two dissimilar things which are being put together in a single meaning, in a comparative meaning. You can also say his heart is as good as gold, or his heart is like gold, where you can use the simile form, or you can say he has a golden heart, where you are using the adjective form, like I told you in the introduction itself. So these are all possibilities which make your English, your ability to express the same thing in different ways. Number 5, this is the last one we shall do. His words were a breath of fresh air. A breath of fresh air is now an entire phrase. It's not a single word like the ones we did earlier. It is a phrase, but it is a metaphor. What is it a metaphor for? It is a metaphor for his words. So whatever he spoke gave you new hope. It gave you a new idea. It gave you something which you were missing. You were feeling totally blocked, with no air. You were feeling suffocated. Suddenly, his words came, and his words were a breath of fresh air. Again, if you put like, it becomes a simile. But here there is no like. Words, breath of fresh air. So the phrase breath of fresh air is a metaphor for words. Now you see how a metaphor need not necessarily be only a single word. It can be a phrase also. But see how clearly the picture comes in front of your eyes when you speak like that. Speaking is the most powerful skill human beings have. And when you're learning a new language, you find how wonderful that process of learning is. And when you learn these metaphors, you start using them, you find that, your English has reached a new level. And that is what all our old subscribers, our old members are looking for. They have been climbing step by step, and they have now reached a level where they want more, they want to explore newer areas. I would like all of you to follow these steps, because almost every day I get a comment saying, "Where should I begin? I'm a beginner." So begin with the lessons for beginners. But when you finish those lessons, don't stop there by saying, "I've learned enough English." Come to this. His words were a breath of fresh air. This lesson is a breath of fresh air because it helps you to learn good English. So, something new, something which gives you the ability to breathe and live and, get newer ideas, that is a breath of fresh air. Try using these metaphors and see how you succeed in improving your speaking to a very high level. Good English speaking and at an advanced level. That is what we are aiming.
Thank you for watching this video. If you want more videos like this, you have to let me know in the comment box. Don't forget to press the bell icon, which will notify you about new videos. If you think this video is useful, like it and hype it also. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet, and share the videos widely with all others who you think need to improve their English. And finally, join as a member, because all members have been improving their English immensely in the last 1 year since we started the membership drive. See you again in the next video.